What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my studio. This is the second video I've shot here. I did the Cryptics video from Creature Replicas. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I'm getting ready to do a very interesting video. This has been a long time coming as well, and I'm very super excited about this one also. Anyway, so I'm a kid of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. The biggest portion of my childhood was spent in the 80s, and it was a fantastic time to be alive. I mean, the dawn of a lot of new technologies. The 80s wasn't just a decade of bad and big hair, dodgy clothes and neon. The 80s was, like I said, the dawn of a lot of new technologies, and technologies that has formed me into the geek that I am today. Lots of things. If you could think back, IBM coined the term personal computer back in the 80s. And do you remember the Commodore? If you're a child of the 80s, you remember the Commodore or Apple II. These were computers we were using in school back then. Console gaming happened. Not happened in the 80s, but a big chunk of gaming consoles released in the 80s. The 80s sparked a lot of technology. We had ColecoVision. We had Intellivision. What do we have? We had the Atari 5200. What was it? The Super something? I can't remember. We had the Atari 2600. Atari 2600 is the one I remember the most, and the one that I was able to play all of my arcade games that I played in the arcade at home. The 80s was phenomenal. The 80s was a great time to be alive. We had the Walkman. We had answering machines. What else? There was so much technology. I mean, camcorders, cable television, portable phones, so much came out of the 80s, and it was a great time to be alive, and I mean, it seemed like every month there was some new type of technology hitting the market, and I loved it. I love the 80s. I love the feeling that I had in the 80s. Everything was so fresh and new, and the technologies, and it was just a great time to be alive. So with that said, I am doing something that is very much 80s inspired today for this edition in the studio. I'm doing there's a company called Arcade 1-Up, and Arcade 1-Up started releasing arcade games, a smaller version naturally of the games that you would have seen in the arcade, or still to this day there's still arcades out there. But the 80s style arcade is what we're talking about. So the cabinets had great artwork. I remember the first time I ever walked into an arcade, the first thing I noticed, because I am very creative and have been my entire life, I've always been very much artistic, and the first thing I noticed, aside from the amazing sounds coming out of the arcade room, was the graphics, was the look of these machines, was the artwork invested into these machines and into these cabinets, and I was blown away. So Arcade 1-Up has released a series of smaller arcade games. These are 3/4 scale cabinets that very much in a very big way resemble the cabinets, the arcade cabinets that I remember back in my arcade days, back in my childhood days, back in the 80s. So what I have is I have four arcade machines. I have Centipede, I have Pac-Man, I have Asteroids, and I have Mortal Kombat. And these games come with multiple games inside. If you want to check out Arcade 1-Up, you can go check out these games and what all the games that come with the one cabinet, the one machine. So I have 4 arcade machines. I have 4 of the 8 that are released at the moment. And this has become very much of a hobby and a habit and a collector's item for me, simply because it brings back that nostalgia, that amazing 80s feeling of being a child. And it's fantastic. So what I'm going to do today, so as you've seen, I have the 1-Up cabinets, and I have this one right here. This isn't the cabinet. This, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. So the cabinets, these are the cabinets, and these are the risers. So the cabinets are about 4 foot tall. The risers add a couple feet to that. So the risers make these tall enough to stand up and play at like you would in an arcade, which makes these even more phenomenal. There are a couple accessories, if you will, that you can buy with your 1UP arcade machines. You can get the risers, and like I said, these are the risers, and your arcade, and you put these together yourself. You put the arcade machines together as well, and these set down in there, and then you screw them in to the side of the cabinet, holds it nice, raises it up, makes it a standable, playable arcade machine. The arcade machines themselves, you build, you put together. The first one probably took me around 50 minutes. The second one and third and fourth probably took me only half an hour, because they're all standard basic and they go together really nice and very sturdy. My wife helped me carry these risers out, just the risers, and she's like, man, them things are heavy. So they're built very well, very sturdy, very quality. So today I am putting graphics. I have acquired the graphics these are for my Asteroids machine. And I have in here for Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, Centipede. I have acquired the graphics to customize my risers. So my risers match the arcade machine, because obviously the arcade machine has artwork. These risers will match the arcade machine, make it look like one whole complete arcade machine. I'm a nerd, I like to do this kind of stuff. And I know how to put these on very well. I was a sign maker for 10 plus years, so applying these graphics, not a problem. So I'm going to do the Asteroids machine first, and with the Asteroids machine I did get a little extra. First of all, it's a completely surround graphics. It goes all the way around, and I have the bezel graphics, which should be laying in here somewhere around here. I have the bezel graphics. Well, I can't find them now. They're probably laying over there. Oh, here they are. I have the bezel graphics as well. The bezel is, what goes around the screen. These are bezel graphics, so I can complete my Asteroids machine completely. Now, I'm going to buy bezel graphics also for the Mortal Kombat machine, because when I was getting graphics, I didn't realize Mortal Kombat didn't have bezel graphics. Pac-Man does, Centipede does. Asteroids Mortal Kombat did not have bezel graphics, and maybe they're from a different series, because these do go in series, so maybe they're from a different series. I don't know. But that is what's going to happen today. We're going to apply the graphics to our cabinets and complete them and get them put back together and back where they belong in my nerd cave. And we're going to do that right now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that right now. Get these graphics on these risers, and it's going to be amazing. So I got my coffee, I got my Monster, when the coffee's gone, and I'm ready to do this. So let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, there's a few things I'm going to need to do this project, well, multiple projects, because I'm doing four risers. So I got just a multi-purpose foaming cleaner. This is with ammonia, so it's like it won't leave like a residue. It'll basically kind of dry off, and this will work to just clean the cabinet before I apply the graphics. You want a nice clean surface. Of course, some masking tape. You do these graphics in half, so you tape down the middle, you peel it back, cut it, apply, do the same on the other side. Masking tape, need it. I got some scissors for cutting the backing off. You'll see all this happen. Shop towels, naturally, with the cleaner. And I got this squeegee to apply the graphics. You want to push all the air out. And I got this pin, just in case I got to trim this up and I need to do some measuring. I've got a basically it's basically a Sharpie. It's just got a different name. So these, and you need a ruler. You need a measuring device. That is our materials. That is what we need. Oh yeah, and also this, because the coffee's gone. So let's get this started. This is gonna be delicious. There's a bit of a trick too if you do get bubbles in this. Now these graphics came to me a little bit wrinkled, a little bit. I'll show you. These graphics, when I received them, you can see like on this edge here how it's coming up. So these graphics aren't perfectly flat to the backing. That causes a problem when you're applying the graphics, but I've done this long enough that I know how to get around any type of bubbles. But if you do get some bubbles, there's a little trick that you can just go to the bubble and poke a little hole in it, in the vinyl, with a razor blade. You won't even see the hole, and you can push that air right out. This edge here is gonna get trimmed off, but these graphics came on pretty smooth. Looks pretty good so far. So we're gonna get the other side on, and we're gonna continue with this riser and get it done, and then get all these others knocked out. So I just wanted to show you that little trick. In case, if you're ever playing graphics, you can do a wet application if you want to, which that means you just take soapy water in a spray bottle and spray this down with soapy water. Spray the surface, spray the adhesive on the graphics. You can apply this wet, which it won't adhere right away, and you'll be able to squeegee every little bitty bubble out. I'm not going to do that in this case. It's an added extra step that I don't want to do, but that is a way of assuring that you get the smoothest graphics possible, is do a wet application. I'm just doing this dry, so when it's done, it's done. I don't have to wait for drying or heat it with a heat gun or anything like that. I can apply it and it's finished. Alrighty, well, let's continue. Okay, so the graphics are done. We have it on all sides here. This riser is finished. I do have these graphics, which will match up to this, that go on the front of the arcade machine. And I also have this, which will go on another piece on the arcade machine, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then of course I have the bezel graphics. So I will show you the Asteroid machine complete in a little bit, but what we're going to do is knock out all of these risers and then get everything set up and done and get this project complete. So let's start on the Pac-Man one, the Centipede one, I don't know. We'll see what comes out of the tube first and we'll get them knocked out. Tell you this, the difference in printers you get your graphics from is like night and day. My Asteroid graphics came from some people who weren't so professional, and they applied not very well. The graphics showed up crinkled and wrinkled, and that hinders the application. Now, I've had enough experience doing this that I was able to get them on very nice and smooth, and they look fantastic. But application was a bit of an issue. For someone who doesn't have experience, they would have struggled getting those graphics on. These, however, and I will link the printers of these graphics below, went on beautifully. This first half is smooth, beautiful. So be very particular. Look at reviews and things like that when you're going to get your graphics. So you get quality stuff. These were shipped in a tube. The Asteroid graphics were shipped in a box, a triangle-shaped shipping box. You don't ship graphics in a box, but it was probably cheaper or something. Who knows? But anyway, these are going on beautifully. Let's continue. Alrighty, Centipede riser is finished. Looks freaking amazing. Looks awesome. So we're going to get started on our next one. Let's see what's in the tube first. Let's see. What do we have? What do we have on top? It looks like Pac-Man. Looks like we're doing Pac-Man next, and then we got Mortal Kombat to do after the Pac-Man graphics are on. These are gonna look incredible. All right, let's move on. Pac-Man is done. I like the pixeled graphics on the side. Looks like a Pac-Man map. Pac-Man is done, looks phenomenal. Now we're gonna move on to Mortal Kombat. Except I'm hungry, it's lunchtime. So I'm gonna go eat lunch, then I'm gonna do Mortal Kombat. This video is sponsored by Coke Zero. How awesome would that be if I was sponsored by Coke? That's from lunch. All right. We are going to do our Mortal Kombat graphics now. So, this says MK2 on it. These are the sides, and that is the front. And we're gonna do it. Gonna get her done. Yeah, I gotta clean it. Gotta clean it first. Alrighty, here is the Mortal Kombat riser finished MK2, which is in the machine, which is one of the games. It's Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is finished. Now I need to get these inside and get them assembled. Plus I need to add the cabinet graphics to the Asteroids machine and the bezel graphics. So I'm going to get these inside. I'm going to get the graphics added to the Asteroids machine. I'm going to get them all put back together and back in the nerd cave. And plus I got a big mess out here that needs cleaned up. There's a big mess. All right, I'm going to get this cleaned up, get these inside, get things wrapped up, and I'll show you guys the arcade machines all assembled, looking phenomenal and complete. I'll see you in the next clip. I'll see you inside. Hot. Good morning, YouTube. Happy Sunday. I had all weekend to work on this arcade project, so I took the whole weekend to do it. Today I'm going to edit it and things like that, but the cabinets turned out phenomenal. The cabinets turned out fantastic. The Asteroids cabinet, the graphics from the printer that I got those specific graphics from, there were some things I wasn't extremely happy about. The thing is with them risers and with the cabinets, they're black, so, and a lot of these graphics have like a black background, especially the Asteroids cabinet. So it turned out okay, and maybe they took that in consideration when they made these, but the thing is, those graphics weren't quite the right size, and there was a lot of, the quality of the graphics weren't fantastic, and the way they shipped them, I wasn't very happy with, because that created an issue with applying the graphics when they show up bent and wrinkled and things like that. So that's my one complaint about the Asteroids graphics, but on the cabinet, and I knew I would be able to apply them, but on the cabinet and how they've made it so it flowed with the graphics already on the cabinet itself, I like the complete look of all of them now. The complete look of all of my arcade machines with the graphics on the risers instead of a black riser. It just makes it feel complete, makes it feel like a whole machine rather than, you know, a scaled down machine on a riser. It makes it feel like an actual arcade machine. So, and someday, you know, maybe I will purchase an actual arcade machine. I would love to own like an actual 80s style arcade machine of Pac-Man and Centipede. And I think that would be really neat to have, but these are fantastic, and these do take me back to when I was a child and running around in the arcade and waking up on my Saturday mornings and jumping on my bike and taking off to my uncle's pizza place to play arcade games. I earned my arcade gameplay by doing dishes. The games were ran on tokens, and I would do dishes, and when I was done doing dishes and would come out of the kitchen, there would be a big Pepsi cup of tokens, and I could go and play through all my tokens and then go do dishes again. And that's how I spent my Saturdays. I've been a gamer since gaming started. My first system, and I've said this before, was Pong, and then it just went on from there. I've been video gaming since I can remember. So the cabinets are done. I think they look fantastic, and it was fun actually going back and doing some vinyl work again, like applying vinyl graphics. I did that. That was my job. That was my profession for over 10 years. I would design and either print or vinyl cut graphics and make signs locally and beyond, and go and apply graphics on site and things like that. And so that took me back to that as well. So this is a very good video to make. It took me back to my childhood, and it took me back to some other things. That it was a feel-good video is what it was. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. This was a fun video to make, and I like having the complete machines with the riser graphics and all that. That looks cool. And this is probably just the start. Like I said, I have 4 of the 8 machines that are out now, and I'm waiting for more. I would love to have a Donkey Kong machine. I would love to have a Frogger machine. I would love to have, because they have, and if you go to their website, arcade1up.com, you can see the machines that they have released. And I think they've released Wave 1 and Wave 2, or Series 1 and Series 2, I think is what they call it. And they have Street Fighter and a couple others, but I would love to see Frogger. I would love to see Donkey Kong. I would love to see some of these games in the arcade, the 3/4 scale arcade format. But maybe eventually. I'm sure that they're going to keep releasing games, and I'm sure I'm going to keep buying them. Room in my house is a factor, so I gotta figure that out, where to put these video games, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'm really sure I'll find a place to put them. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during the process of applying these graphics to my 1UP arcade cabinets. And they're very fun. They're very fun. The look and feel and sound of these arcade games is legit, man. Like, it's what I remember. These are definitely designed in the retro way of 80s arcade style machines, and the way they look and the sound and the gameplay, and they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. And if you're a child of the 80s, or not, you're just like the 80s, or you just like arcade machines, or you just like retro stuff, or whatever, you'll love these. That's a guarantee. They've done a phenomenal job in recreating these things, and they're cool. So, and you can get them anywhere, literally. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, they're all over the place. So, and you can find some on sale, and you can get them on eBay and Amazon, I think. I got my Centipede game on eBay because I couldn't find it anywhere else in any stores, physically stores. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I actually got my Centipede game off eBay, and it came to me in fantastic shape. So you can literally get these things anywhere, and they're coming in right around $300, $299. I think when they first released these, they went from $4.99 to $3.99. Now they're $2.99. So now's a great time to buy. I don't know if they'll go any cheaper than that. Actually, I did get my Centipede game from eBay for like 185 bucks. So, which is my favorite arcade game at the moment. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you do the thumbs up? Could you hit that like button? Could you hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed and you like coming to the video, because I do a lot of gaming. I have kind of waned from doing vlogs, but I do vlogs, and I do a lot of videos of action figure reviews and things like this. Just different stuff. It's a variety channel. And so if you like that, you could hit the subscribe button, hit the post notifications, little bell, hit that. That will let you know when I post a video, or when I go live, or whatever I do, and on YouTube. So I would appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys watching. And this was a fun video, so we will see you in the next one, because it's coffee time. It's nice outside. I'm gonna sit on my deck, drink some coffee with my wife, and enjoy this Sunday. And I hope you do as well. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.